How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about CNN anchor Chris Cuomo freaking out at a guy in a bar or restaurant. I'm not quite sure where they were over being called Fredo. Now, if you don't know why that term set Chris Cuomo off, why it's important, why it's significant, or where it comes from, apparently Fredo was the dumb brother in the Godfather movie. He was an embarrassment to the family. He could not get right throughout the entirety of the film. And according to Chris Cuomo, Fredo has been used as an ethnic slur against Italians. Now, I got to tell you, in my whole life of living, in my 35 years, I've never heard the term Fredo be considered an ethnic slur. But according to Chris Cuomo, it is. And when he was allegedly called that by that guy, they get into this fight, which was a whole lot of barking, not too much biting. But before we go down that road, let's go ahead and roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see what I was talking about. You'll see the guy, you'll see Chris Cuomo, how they're talking, how they're interacting. After we get done with that, I'll give you my analysis, give you my 2 cents, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it. Language warning, you've been warned.
I thought that's who you were.
No, punk ass bitches from the right call me Fredo. My name is Chris Cuomo. I'm an anchor on CNN. Fredo is from The Godfather. He was that weak brother.
I know it was you, Fredo.
And they use it as an Italian aspersion. Any of you Italian? Are you Italian? It's a fucking insult to your people. It's an insult to your fucking people. It's like the N-word for us. Is that a cool fucking thing?
You're a much more reasonable guy in person than you seem to be on television.
Yeah, but if you want to play, then we'll fucking play. If you've got something you want to say about what I do on television, then say it. But don't perform me a fucking insult.
Hey, listen.
What?
I don't want any problems.
Yeah, you're going to have a big fucking problem.
What's the problem?
It's a little different on TV. Don't fucking insult me like that.
I didn't insult you.
Fuck, you call me Fredo. It's like I call you punk bitch. You like that? You want that to be your nickname?
I didn't call you that.
You called me Fredo. You know my name's not fucking Fredo.
I thought your name was.
You did not think my name was fucking Fredo. Don't be a liar.
I thought your name
You want to be a
was.
man, stand up like a man.
I'm standing up, man.
You want to be a man, I'm here. Then fucking own it. Then own what you said.
Hey.
Then own what you said.
Listen, man, I don't have a problem with you, man.
Yeah, you're going to have a fucking problem.
What? What are you going to do about it?
I'll fucking ruin your
something
shit.
then.
I'll fucking throw you down these stairs like a fucking punk.
Please do.
Why, so you can fucking sue?
So
you can fucking sue?
Well, why don't you do it
Go
then?
take a swing. You want to call me Fredo? Take a fucking swing.
I'm not gonna swing
Take
at
a
you.
fucking swing. Watch your fucking hands. Take a swing. Watch your fucking hands. Take a swing. No, come on, boy. Come on, boy. You want to call me shit? Call me shit then.
Hey, listen, man.
I'm right
I'm
fucking
not
here.
doing anything.
I'll fucking wreck your shit. I'll fucking wreck your shit.
Stop.
You didn't know what you were doing when
I
you
thought
called
it
me
was your
Fredo?
name, man.
You didn't know.
I thought it was your name.
You didn't know, right? Hey, you didn't know what you were saying, right?
I thought it was his name.
I'm breaking it up.
All right, so you heard that, you saw that. Now, there is a lot to quote unquote unpack here, as the cool kids would say. But let's start from the very beginning of things that are on my mind. First of all, Chris Cuomo, you were really reaching super far, like go-go gadget arm, where you were talking about Fredo being the equivalent to the N-word. There is zero comparison to be made, okay? You see, first of all, I'm saying Fredo, right? I'm saying it openly, right? It's somebody's name, but I'm not saying the N-word and I'm black. That tells you right there that there's no comparison to be made. You have a whole history, a whole lineage, hundreds of years of actual real life things. Like Fredo, that was in the movie, okay, The Godfather in the 70s. We're talking about a thing that was actually used against people. You know, there was a whole lot of racism going on, a lot of bigotry happening. And nowadays it's still a really taboo word. People use it in quote unquote kind, and you know, they say it when they're not really so kind. It's a very controversial word, a very emotional word. It's a lot of history behind it. So there is no comparison to be made between the N-word and quote unquote Fredo. Okay. Maybe the better comparison would be to like Uncle Tom or something like that. And that's still reaching because there's much more history behind Uncle Tom and Coon and Sellout than there is a Fredo. Like I said, I never heard the term Fredo be an ethnic slur before. I heard about WAP being an ethnic slur. I was told that when I was like 14 to 15. My Italian homeboy told me when I was in school. I think I said the word not knowing that it was an ethnic slur, and he explained it to me. But Fredo, I mean, you're reaching. If you're really a New York tough guy talking about you effing throw you down the stairs, if you're going to do all that, just go ahead and do it. If you're talking for like 10 minutes to me, I know we ain't going to fight. Either you're going to swing or not. That's how I carry it. All right. And in certain places in the country, you're not going to be able to do all that talking barking without some kind of something happening to you. But that's a different story, and I digress. My point is that he was a fake tough guy getting triggered over nothing. Really, I think he was more upset about being called Fredo because Fredo was a dumb brother. His brother is, I think, the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. So maybe he has some jealousy there. Now, Chris Cuomo's not in a bad position as a CNN anchor. I mean, I'm sure he makes plenty of money, but not the same kind of power or influence that his brother has. So it might be some kind of jealousy there, a little bit of envy right there. So that may have been what set him off more than a so-called ethnic slur. All right. Furthermore, I don't think Chris Cuomo really cares about the term Fredo because Ana Navarro said it to his face on his show live on CNN.
Daddy kept Fredo back home. So who cares what Donald Trump Jr. says? Who cares what Donald Trump Jr. says?
You saw that. I mean, he didn't even flinch. Now, granted, she was talking about Donald Trump Jr. and not Chris Cuomo, obviously. But if the word is offensive, then the word is offensive. It can't be offensive certain times it's not. All right. Now, maybe you didn't want to just put your colleague, Ana Navarro, on blast right at that moment. So maybe you took her to the side later and say, okay, you can't say that. But I wonder if Ana Navarro will come out today and say that she was told that, or she'll just be quiet because he did not say anything to her because it's not really that offensive. All right. Also, your fellow CNN anchor, Jake Tapper, put Donald Trump Jr. in a cartoon with Donald Trump and other people as Fredo. So let me get this straight. Somebody could say Fredo live on your show on CNN, Chris Cuomo. You don't bat an eye. You don't flinch. You don't say anything. It's not a problem. Your colleague, Jake Tapper, can put Donald Trump Jr. as Fredo in a cartoon and nobody says anything. You don't say anything. It's not a big deal. But now all of a sudden you wouldn't be a big tough guy in this random bar because somebody says Fredo to you. Now, I'm not going to say that the guy didn't have any kind of malicious intent. Maybe he was trying to joke on him, but did it garner that kind of response? Now, I know people have defended him. People on the left, obviously. CNN says they back him 100% because the guy was trying to harass him. They want to call him a Trump supporter, this, that, and the third. I didn't know who the guy was. This is a random person. How you figure he's a Trump supporter? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. He might hate Trump. Who knows? It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I just think that Cuomo's response was too much. But getting back to the defenders, you also had Hannity who came out and said that he defends Cuomo. Same thing with Geraldo. I think Geraldo's New York Italian or Puerto Rican, whatever. So they kind of understand. But would they defend Donald Trump Jr. or even Donald Trump himself if that were him doing the freaking out? Would they defend any of us? Because I keep seeing on television all the time, when you go to a Trump rally, you're going to get beat up. The president encourages violence. The president just says, hey, if they want to attack you, they want to spit on you, they want to punch you, defend yourself back. How is that any different than people defending Chris Cuomo because he defended himself against some mean words or a mean word, Fredo, which not even really that mean because he didn't even really care when a person said it to him live on his own TV show. The same kind of protection would not be afforded to us on the right if we go out there and do something like that. You know, one person gets punched in the head at a Trump rally because they've been spitting on you for an hour. And then all of a sudden, all people that are on the right are violent, crazy, hateful Nazis. That's the narrative that you get from the mainstream media. But when it comes to Chris Cuomo, oh, he was defending himself. He was with the founders, that, and the third. Let's just have the same kind of protection and the same kind of treatment be given to people, regardless of what side of the political aisle that they're on. Let's not play politics with being able to protect yourself and to defend yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that Chris Cuomo was totally wrong to be upset. I will say that he was wrong for, just freaking out and not being able to control himself, because if that's me and I'm Chris Cuomo, either I'm going to swing on a dude or I'm not. I'm not going to really be on camera talking and, having a world star or a viral moment. I'm not going to do all that. If I'm going to say what you said, I'll just go somewhere else and enjoy my evening. I'm not really trying to have this whole conversation with you. The guy he was talking to was doing a whole lot of listening, not too much speaking. Chris Cuomo was the one driving the conversation. All for naught. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Chris Cuomo was correct to freak out at the guy over being called Fredo? Was he incorrect? What would you do in that situation? What if I get called a coon Uncle Tom sellout, house Negro, bootlicker, shoe shiner? Can I just attack somebody because of that? Now, what if I do that? Will the media protect me the way they're protecting Chris Cuomo? Or will they say, oh, he's just he's lost, he's brainwashed, he's Trump supporter, he doesn't know anything? I've seen people on TV talk about me and people that I know, friends of mine, worse than what Chris Cuomo had said to him at that bar. But what if I'm on TV and then I slap one of these guys in the head for saying that to me? Would I go to jail? Will I get, what would have happened to me? What would be my punishment for that? Because you got Geraldo saying, yeah, I would have socked him. All right, so what if I sock you for calling me a sellout? What happens then? I'm not saying I would, so can't nobody say you threatening anybody. I'm just saying, what would be the reaction? I'm a peaceful guy, but what if I wasn't? What would be the response? Whatever your comments are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.